But this is the playoff time of the year, and today is January 26th. And Will, this is a special day in
anniversary. Can I sing?
Yes, sing the song, brother.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, on this date in 1992, Washington defeated the Buffalo Bills 37-24. MVP Mark Rypien. The score is not indicative of the game because this thing was 24-0. We got a touchdown right after half after Kurt Govea intercepted Jim Kelly. We ended up scoring. That's when you see, if you ever see the yearbook or the highlight video, that's when they ran it to Riggs, and you see Mark Rypien running up the field.
He does the goofiest run. Yes.
I still get chills thinking about that moment. It was beautiful, man. What you talked to me before, and you said you weren't in the States. You were in Japan.
For this one, I was.
Oh, you were in the okay.
The Doug Williams one. I was in Japan. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, man. What a game! I still remember at the beginning of the season, my dad came in to say goodnight, and he's like, "So they're predicting the Redskins to be the Super Bowl favorites this season." And I was like, really? Had no idea that they were going to be good. Yeah. And I mean, magical is the only way to describe the 91 season.
Yes.
It was just amazing how they would just put the pedal on everybody and just destroy them, And then we got to that Buffalo game, and I was nervous because they were in the Super Bowl the year before. Didn't matter. They knew Gibbs and his staff knew what Buffalo wanted to do. They stopped it, and they knew they couldn't stop our passing attack, and it was beautiful, that game.
Absolutely beautiful. Now that was the year that I really first started to dive into football, like really reading cards, watching every highlight, all that stuff. Still very young, but that was also the season that I understood the pain because I didn't want to lose. I didn't understand that we could lose because we were amazing. So my mom tells a story that after the preseason game, we lost all of our preseason games.
We did.
And I was irate. And my mom was almost in jeopardy of not even watching the season. She's like, you can't react this way just in case they lose. You can't do that. Well, once then after that, we go through the month of September not being scored on at home. You know what I mean? Our defense just blanks everybody. By the time we get to the Dallas game, I'm sitting here like, Miami Dolphins, who? We're about to go 16-0. Bring us back to earth.
Yeah.
The Dallas game. And then I'll never forget because we ended up beating the Rams, but then we played the Cardinals, and I think we went down like 14-0 at the half. And I was just like, they can't do it. I'm sick of it. And my dad was then like, dude, you're not watching this. This is ridiculous. These guys are going. He said that day, he said, these guys are going to the Super Bowl. And you're crying over a daggone. This doesn't matter. And they ended up coming back. And my dad just walked by me and said, see, what did I tell you? And I'm just sitting, okay. You know what I mean? I was into it. I remember everything. I got a haircut the rainy day of the seat cushion game.
Yes.
In Dion with MC Hammer and Vander Holyfield on the sidelines. And then killing the daggone Lions was beautiful. And then that game, a lot of it is not a blur, but it was just so like you said, it was just so magical. Like only thing I remember from that game is that at the beginning of the game, I had to use the bathroom. Okay. And I was just so hooked that I was like, I cannot miss anything. And I didn't let on that I had to go to the bathroom until Bill started kicking onside kicks, which is the middle of the fourth quarter, right? And then I'm like, and my dad's like, why are you rubbing your legs? I got to go to the bathroom. He's like, go to the bathroom. And so I go, and he's like, how long have you been holding it? I was like, since kickoff. He was like, are you kidding me? This is crazy. So you start to understand when it started to really come about for me. But it was a beautiful, beautiful moment. But I do want to ask this because we were talking about this. Is this your favorite Super Bowl? I mean, now in hindsight, being able to know about all three, we obviously weren't around for the first one. But is this your favorite one, or do you have another one?
This one has to be because I was in Japan for the 88 Super Bowl, the Doug Williams, Ricky Sanders game. Now, Ricky Sanders was my favorite player growing up. And so, I was also 6 years old at the time.
Right.
So it's hard for me to really remember. I think I saw part of the game, but I don't think I was able to stay up for the whole game. We did get the Super Bowl in Japan. You did get that. So the 91 Super Bowl was the one where, like you said, that's when the year before, I remember we lost. I think we lost to the Niners 28-10 in the division round of the playoffs. And then, and so I started to, follow the team then, but the 91 season, like you, that's when I got hooked and I watched every single game from the get-go. Absolutely, it's my favorite. And my favorite memory is just what you talked about, the goofy Mark Rypien run. It was so great. It was so great.
It was amazing. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I do go to the 88 one, and like you said, like we were 6. We're not there wasn't real I can't tell you each individual play from just a memory, even though I have watched that game countless times. But it was the significance of it. My parents definitely felt that was something that I needed to watch. Obviously, Doug Williams, first African-American quarterback to start and win the MVP, the whole 9 at that time in 1988. Obviously hindsight's 2020, but there's a lot going on, and having that positive role model was solid. But for me, my mom, who's a huge fan, my dad could take football or leave it. He likes it, but not really. My mom is the one who's just sold, like diehard. And she always tells me every time we talk about it is that I would say the Bronco Busters. We're the Bronco Busters. We're going to bust some Broncos. I didn't know what I was saying, but it was, that's the memory that we have. So that game for me, and also because my dad taped every Super Bowl on VHS. So from about Super Bowl 20, I want to say about Super Bowl 20 to about Super Bowl 33.
Okay.
That's when I started taking over. About Super Bowl 33, 34. Every one of those, the entire game is on a VHS tape.
Oh, wow.
So that Super Bowl 22 was the first one that I uncovered. I actually taped over it. I taped over like the first half of Cool Runnings. So So I missed like half of the 18 play, the second quarter. But I just remember watching it and falling in love with Super Bowl commercials, falling in love with just the old McDonald's commercials and just how just crazy everything was in 1988. And it was a snapshot of that time. And for that, to me, even though I didn't understand it like I did the Super Bowl 26, that one was that it always sticks here. That's when I knew football was for me. Washington was for me, period, Dan. So, absolutely.
Beautiful memories. Such happy times. Who would have thought 31 years later, we're still just wanting to win a doggone playoff game,
Just a playoff game. You know what I mean?
We just want to make the playoffs right now. That's all we want. Just make the playoffs.
I feel like when playoffs come up, like Jim Mora's just sitting there.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
That is us in September.
There it is.
They go with the predictions, and I'm like, what? Playoffs? I just wanted December to remember right now. My bar is low.
Can we just still be relevant in the winter? Like, come on now.